12 wrestlers from around the world, 7 nations vying for dominance, 3 tournament blocks, and 1 chance to capture professional wrestling's golden crown. I am Johnny Jett alongside my broadcast colleague DK Ressman, and we're here to tell you everything you need to know to get you ready for this season of Power Pro Wrestling. This is your Bracketology.
What is the Golden Crown? Over the coming weeks, Power Pro Wrestling will be embarking on a journey to name the first person ever to attain the Golden Crown, a championship the likes of which the world has never seen before. A 12-wrestler round-robin tournament split into 2 blocks of 6 competitors each will determine, beyond a shadow of a doubt, who the best wrestler in the world really is.
That's right, DK. The Golden Crown is set to become the most sought-after accolade in the sport of professional wrestling, and that's because the greatest athletes from around the world have come here to Power Pro Wrestling, to this tournament, to compete for it.
Absolutely, Johnny. Let's talk about some of the competitors linked to this tournament. Panzer, Jordan King, Kazuya Kano, Donna Reed, Heather Lexus. This is a who's who of wrestling's best and brightest stars.
Absolutely, DK. Power Pro Wrestling scoured the globe looking for the creme de la creme, the best of the best to bring here for this competition. Some of them are globe-trotting stars. Some of them are amateur standouts. All of them deserve a place here in this tournament. This goes beyond a world title. This is beyond a World Cup. The Golden Crown and this tournament will prove beyond a reasonable doubt who the greatest wrestler alive actually is.
That's right, Johnny. And part of that, of course, is due to the freedom from limitations under which these contests and this tournament will be held.
Right again, where other tournaments and championships in the past have promised no limits to competition, those same tournaments, championships, and promotions have put up barriers, weight barriers, stylistic barriers, gender barriers. Power Pro Wrestling in this tournament are putting aside all the qualifiers that hold back competition from becoming a truly level playing field. In Power Pro Wrestling, we'll find out who the best really is.
And to accomplish that, wrestling fans might find that Power Pro operates under rules just a little bit different from what they're used to.
Yes, Power Pro Wrestling has its own set of rules in place that have been written specifically to ensure an even playing field. Fans, wrestlers, and historians alike might find similarities between the rule sets here and those enforced by the old Pro Wrestling Network, but care has been taken to be accommodating to our numerous international competitors as well.
That's right. As one example, as in Japanese wrestling, the count on the floor is to 20 rather than the standard North American 10 count.
Additionally, the 5-count disqualification has been extended beyond rope breaks and now includes all holds deemed illegal by Power Pro Wrestling. This includes blows to the back of the head and below the belt, attacks with foreign objects, and the pile driver hold.
That's right, Johnny. In effect, that legalizes some otherwise illegal maneuvers. As an old friend of mine used to say, anything's legal for 5 seconds.
That's right, DK. But it's all in the name of tearing down barriers. It's all about making sure the absolute best wrestler emerges with the Golden Crown.
And you said it yourself, Johnny. Here in this tournament, there won't be anything between wrestlers stopping them from competing to the fullest. And that includes true intergender competition. This is, of course, a decision that is not without its controversy.
There has long been a stigma in combat sports associated with intergender matches. The question has always been whether or not women and men of equal skill and standing can or should wrestle against one another in this tournament. We aim to answer that question definitively.
And one woman who just might be able to prove those skeptics wrong is Brooke Power. Let's have a look at the woman they're calling the Brute from Bray.
Fighting out of the city of Bray in County Wicklow, Ireland, Brooke Power is a young woman with a lot to prove. The youngest of 5 siblings and an accomplished veteran of Ireland's underground wrestling scene, the woman some are calling the Big Lass has never before competed in true professional wrestling competition. But don't let her seeming inexperience fool you. Brooke Power lives up to her name in every respect. At 5'11", 244 pounds, the brute from Bray is easily the largest woman competing in the pursuit for the Golden Crown, and with impressive size comes equally impressive strength. In her amateur bouts, Power has shown time and time again the ability to dominate and devastate lesser opponents, even those possessing more experience than she does. Analysts and peers characterize the Big Lass as a powerhouse, a bulldozer in human form capable of running roughshod over anything and everything in her path. Will she find similar success as she crosses over into the big leagues? We'll find out this season on Power Pro Wrestling. Brooke Power will certainly have her work cut out for her, of course, as she makes her professional wrestling debut among the likes of such high-caliber athletes as are set to compete in this tournament.
That's absolutely right, Johnny. It will take a truly exceptional amateur to hold against individuals like Holden, Troy, and like Panzer. Her involvement in this tournament will test and push her harder than anything she has ever done before in her career.
Everything we've heard, though, DK, Brooke Power is a physical prodigy. Even if she isn't able to win the Golden Crown this season, a standout performance here, impressing the judges, it can hurt her standing going forward.
To that point, Johnny, there will be, of course, 3 judges grading each bout this season, awarding matches to one side or the other in the event of a draw. Their grades will also help determine rankings as Power Pro moves forward beyond this season. And each of those judges are legends of this sport in their own right, Johnny.
That's right, Scorpio Calhoun, Atlas Sampson, Sheila Strong. These are names synonymous with wrestling history across 3 decades. In the 1970s, Scorpio Calhoun set attendance records that stand to this day. His matches led directly to desegregation of sporting events in Memphis. Atlas Sampson, carrying on that tradition, the first African-American world champion in history, perhaps the biggest star of the 80s boom period. His son, Adonis, now an accomplished champion in his own right. Sheila Strong, maybe the greatest athlete women's wrestling ever knew in the 1990s. It is a tremendous honor to have these individuals here as part of Power Pro Wrestling.
That's right, Johnny, and they're not the only legends taking part in Power Pro Wrestling this season. One of those legends, in fact, making her return to pro wrestling after an absence spanning a number of years.
You're speaking, of course, DK, of the White Wolf of Mexico, La Loba Blanca. Let's take a look at her right now.
In the mid-2000s, as the Lucha Wars raged in Mexico, one luchadora emerged to lead Imperio Mexicana de Lucha Libre in its fight against their rivals in Azteca Lucha Libre. Off the strength of her matches, women's wrestling entered the mainstream public consciousness in Mexico. Through tales of her trials and tribulations inside the wrestling ring, she became a household name. That name was La Loba Blanca. Her matches against the American women of Flow are legendary. Her rivalries are spoken of around the wrestling world. Even beyond the borders of professional wrestling, she has found tremendous success, starring in films and telenovelas. But on the cusp of greatness, tragedy struck. At a joint event between IMLL and All Mexico, La Loba Blanca was injured in the ring by Azteca Princesa, her interpromotional rival, and was publicly stripped of her mask. Disgraced and defeated, La Loba Blanca was forced into retirement. Until now. Can La Loba Blanca redeem herself? Can she earn back the mask that was stolen from her? We'll find out this season on Power Pro Wrestling.
One of the big questions, of course, going forward is going to be how well La Loba Blanca is able to adapt to the hybrid rule set of Power Pro Wrestling, especially coming off of such a lengthy downtime period.
That is certainly one of the questions La Loba Blanca has to be trying to answer for herself ahead of this tournament. She's coming back with a lot to prove, but ring rust and rule changes are definitely obstacles she'll have to overcome. She's not far from her prime, but she is approaching 40, and the question has to be asked whether she's still Queen of the Hill or over it.
We were talking earlier about concessions in the rules of wrestling that have been made for our international wrestlers. One such legal concession is to the tag save rules. Normally, wrestlers would be permitted only a single save opportunity in a match, with continued interference being grounds for warning or disqualification. However, as to accommodate our luchador competitors, this rule has been relaxed. At the referee's discretion, tag team partners may remain in the ring at length in order to save their partner from a pinning or submission predicament.
That's right, Johnny, but that, of course, does not mean that these bouts will be contested under tornado tag rules.
That's right, and these concessions do not go as far as lucha tag rules. They're simply as close to a happy middle point as our officials are willing or able to go without giving clear advantage to any given style.
You know, Johnny, the playing field can only be evened out to a certain degree. After a point, the onus is on the wrestlers themselves to adapt.
That's fair, DK, and the tag team block is going to be so crucial. It could be a game changer. You'd hate to be unable to adapt there.
That's right, and unlike purely singles tournaments, the tag team block here could make or break a competitor, and it's going to introduce a unique strategic and psychological element to the chase for the Golden Crown.
In addition to their singles matches, each wrestler in this tournament will also be part of a tag team, with wins and losses from both singles and tag team blocks counting equally. Wrestlers are getting points for both blocks, and that's going to lead to an interesting dynamic as the tournament progresses. If someone is doing really well in the tag team block and they're lagging behind a little in the singles block, they might be able to still secure a spot in the finals. Alternatively, if they sweep the singles block but lose every tag team match, they're infinitely less likely to get where they want to be.
And some teams are going to be in the same block as one another. Someone might be going into the ring wrestling right beside their worst point rival, and every win they get, their partner gets too.
So we might end up seeing people turning on their partners or deliberately throwing matches to weaken the chance of their own teammate advancing. Interesting implications abound, and it should really lead to some unique strategies as the tournament goes on.
Interesting indeed, Johnny. And of course, there are some wrestlers in this tournament who specialize in tag team wrestling.
And some who want to break away from that image.
That's right. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at just one such individual. Let's take a look at Jordan King.
Japanese pro wrestling has always valued fighting spirit and honor above all else. These two facets are the pillars upon which the very sport is founded. Veterans teach their disciples, the young lions, respect and courage long before they ever receive the honor of competing in the ring. However, in wrestling's dark age, instruction turned to abuse, and for four young lions, the only response was a revolt. Balking at tradition, these four men, Kazuya Kano, Hiro Tamaguchi, Tai Ogawa, and Jordan King, turned against their masters and against the values of Japan itself. Using numbers, sneak attacks, and even weapons, the Lions Japanese began to rampage through the Empire Wrestling Federation, assaulting and brutalizing veterans. Even outside of it, the quartet were no strangers to controversy and scandal. In time, nearly all of them found themselves forced out of the EWF.
For Jordan King, this provided him with an opportunity to return to the United States. There he began to apply the knowledge he'd learned in Japan and, alongside newfound ally Leon Young, the two embarked on a legendary tag team run as the Young Kings. Accolades rained down over that duo. 2 United States Tag Team Championships, 5 World Tag Team Championships. The Young Kings were a phenomenon. But nothing gold can stay, and, in the end, the two went their separate ways.
I got a bone to pick. I don't want you monkey mouth sitting in my throne again.
After a brief hiatus, King returned to Japan, reinventing himself as the Amer-Icon Lion. Using the skills he'd honed in the United States, Jordan King soon found himself beloved in a nation that had once hated him. Now a proven commodity in Japan, King seeks to once again return to the US and attain something that has long evaded him in his homeland: singles gold. Can King run the gauntlet and seize the Golden Crown? We'll find out this season on Power Pro Wrestling.
Jordan King is, beyond a shadow of a doubt, one to watch in this tournament. Experts and analysts have already tipped him as one of the favorites to take the Golden Crown. It's easy to see why when you look at the man's resume. Former Pan-Pacific champion, multiple-time World Tag Team champion, multiple-time U.S. Tag Team champion, a veteran of the Young Lions Revolt. The list goes on. He will, however, be facing some stiff competition if he wants to take home the Golden Crown.
Competition like the man called Panzer, like Donna Reed, like Heather Lexus, Ichiko Kano, Kazuya Kano. Every one of these individuals are just as accomplished, just as deserving of their spots as Jordan King.
And when you talk about someone like Panzer, you talk about a monster among men, a veteran powerhouse wrestler in this tournament, but no less of a threat than he was at half that age.
Right, and you can't forget Panzer has never held a world title before. He's certainly deserved it on the merit of his ability, but his brutal style, his dangerous tactics, they've always scared promoters away from giving him a shot at that top spot. The fear has always been that once Panzer gets his hands on a title, you'll have to kill him to get it away from him.
By the same token, there's Kazuya Kano, another man whose reputation has kept him from achieving the greatness that perhaps his talent merits.
A troubled history, to be sure, but not one shared by his sister Ichiko. Ichiko Kano, though an accomplished Joshi star, has always been seen as something of a special attraction. She's never stuck around long-term anywhere she's gone due to her idol commitments.
Quite fortunate that her first extended exposure to a major wrestling audience could be here in Power Pro. She's certainly shown signs of being a prodigy, and if she's anything like her brother, I could easily see her going far in this tournament.
But she and La Loba Blanca aren't the only major female competitors lacing up to chase the Golden Crown. Heather Lexus, easily one of the biggest names going in Canada, will be here for this tournament.
That's right. Heather Lexus, a multiple-time women's champion in the Golden North, one of the women who, alongside Jane Doe, made wrestling popular for women in Canada over the last 5 years. She has come to Power Pro Wrestling because she wants to prove that she is as good as any man or woman in this sport today.
Yes, Johnny, but let's talk about women from outside this sport.
You're talking, no doubt, about the notorious Donna Reed, who will be making her professional wrestling debut in this tournament.
That's right, Johnny, the youngest woman ever to take the gold in 2 Olympic sports at the same game, 16-2 in mixed martial arts competition. A natural athlete who has rarely met her match. She's a national treasure in both the UK and her native Australia, and she came to Power Pro with promises of stiff competition and big money. We don't expect her to disappoint.
All the same, DK mixed martial artists have crossed over to pro wrestling before and failed. It's an entirely different sport. It's an entirely different world. Going up against world-class competition like this, Donna Reed better not underestimate her opponents.
That's right, Johnny. But speaking of opponents, let's take a look at the blocks and a few of the big matches fight fans can expect to see on this season of Power Pro Wrestling. Here we see the singles blocks A and B, and already a few standout matches are apparent.
In Block A, of course, we see the Golden Boy, Holden Troy, Kid Grime, El Hijo del Phoenix, Panzer, Brooke Power, and the Queen of New York, Karen Rose. Panzer and Power together make up Team Europe. It'll be interesting to see how that relationship plays out. Also interesting is the prospect of a showdown between Holden Troy and Panzer. Troy is, perhaps, a dark horse in this tournament despite his accolades, and I think he could be a surprise winner in that block.
Well, put your hanky away, Johnny, because Block B is nothing to sneeze at either.
Well, certainly not.
Star-studded from top to bottom, here we have promises of what many would call dream matches. King versus Kazuya, Lexus versus Reed, Ichiko versus Loba. These are some instant classics waiting to be made right here.
And then over in the tag team block, we have even more excitement. Wrestlers are teamed together here based on nationality, and this will inevitably lead to some odd couple pairings in this tournament.
We've already mentioned Panzer and Brooke Power being Team Europe, but how about Donna Reed and Kid Grime coming together to represent Team UK? Donna Reed's Australian.
Well, it's a Commonwealth country, and she has a residence there.
I don't know, Johnny. Seems like reaching to me.
Look, I didn't book the thing. They're Team UK, that's how it is.
You say so. Less questionable is the Kano siblings representing Team Japan. That's just common sense.
Some interesting matchups to be sure coming out of the tag team block, and as we touched on earlier, who's to say how exactly each team will coexist, knowing that with every win, they're helping a potential enemy get that much closer to the Golden Crown.
It is a tag team division riddled with paranoia and temporary alliances.
Yes, it certainly is. There are a lot of questions coming into this tournament, and the only answers are going to be the ones found on the other side.
Only one thing is for certain: everyone wants the Golden Crown. We look forward to seeing you all fight fans at bell time as the chase begins. For Johnny Jett, I am DK Ressman, and this has been your Bracketology.